If you follow me on the socials, Instagram, Twitter, at Judy PicKell, I start every Saturday morning off with almost like a tone setter video over there on those channels, just like a, hey, it's Saturday, let's get dialed in, let's get right. And the main message that I had yesterday on those platforms was it's always the quiet ones. It's always the weekends that don't look like the most high-profile slate, not a ton of ranked matchups, and then you sit there in the wee hours of Sunday morning during Sicko's Hour watching Duke Cal and saying, dude, what the heck just happened today? Penn State goes to the Rose Bowl and catches an L. Final score, UCLA 42, Penn State 37. A lot to unpack with this one. Make sure you're subscribed right here to the On3 YouTube channel. College football, nothing but college football year-round. Appreciate you being dialed in. Here's what I don't want to do, because this is going to be about Penn State, a lot about Penn State, but I don't want to take anything away from UCLA and what they accomplished. Because here's the thing. How would you feel if you were a UCLA player over the course of the last few weeks? You lose to Northwestern, and then everyone with a microphone, myself included, saying, well, they're not going to win a game the rest of the year. Head coach gets fired, talking about how it's not an attractive job. All these things up against UCLA. And then you got that team rolling into town who has national title aspirations still, had a lot of people back for this national championship run, allegedly 4-1 Penn State, coming to your place after a tough loss. They're about to get some anger out. Like, how much would have been up against them this week? And to see them respond that way, I think you got to give just a lot of credit to the kids in that locker room, man. Hard not to be happy for them. Also, Nico Iamaleava, as whack as the Tennessee situation was, and as much as that is a story around him and maybe a story around him for the foreseeable future, that dude's a dog when you lock the gates and turn on the clock to play the game, man. I mean, 16 carries, 128 yards, 3 touchdowns, the way he ran the football, getting Vince Young comps on the broadcast. They don't win that game without him making things happen on the ground, and quite frankly, his leadership. Like he said in his post-game press conference, like, I was telling guys, if you don't want to be here, leave. We got Penn State rolling in here, man. We got to go, play some – games still count, don't they? Jerry Neuheisel, contrary to popular belief, he and I are not the same person. I was not calling plays in the Rose Bowl yesterday. Had 2 days, according to him, to get his game plan installed and found a way to get done against one of the better defenses talent-wise in college football. So all the credit in the world to UCLA. Stories like this are why college football is still phenomenal and the best sport on the face of planet Earth. The portal, NIL, all those things, people saying games like this won't exist anymore. I don't know, man. UCLA winless, allegedly going to be winless the rest of the year, according to a lot of people, found a way to get it done, and the competitive character that should reveal about this football team and what it says about those guys in that locker room, you can't say enough good things about. Okay, so that's the UCLA side of things. I don't want to take anything away from them. I say that, and then look at Penn State, and there is no part of Penn State's roster that is bad enough to lose to UCLA. Like, critique Drew Aller all you want. He's good enough to beat UCLA. Critique the receiving corps as much as you want. Good enough to beat UCLA. All those things are true. So what's concerning to me is this loss reeks of a took your eye off the ball kind of loss. Like, that's what it is. The Oregon game, hey, Oregon's pretty talented. You didn't play your best ball. You got beat. That's college football. But to lose to UCLA after that loss, what were the conversations in the locker room like during the week? What was the plane flight over like? What was the practice week like? Because it should have been, after that loss, your best week of the entire college football season when it comes to preparation. There should have been urgency. Hey, that's not us. We got to go flip this thing on its head. Let's go play our best ball down the stretch and go do what Ohio State did last year and win a national championship after losing to Oregon in the regular season. It should have been that. And the fact that it wasn't against that opponent, to me, is super unsettling. Super unsettling. The Jim Knowles year one defense thing is something to at least take a look at. There's a lot of conversation around how complex his defensive scheme is. And it's a scheme that is more exotic than average. He's kind of the mad scientist of college football when it comes to DCs. And so when a defense is that complex, the thought is when you get totally comfortable in it, you're a freaking wagon. Look at Ohio State last year. They turned it on in the college football playoff, and that defense was one of the best, if not the best, in college football. Okay, so there's that part of it. But in year one, it's very counterintuitive when it comes to assignments and typical defensive rules and all those things. And so it leaves yourself a little bit exposed to some gash plays. Why did UCLA win that football game yesterday? Because of the gash plays. Most notably for me, because Nico Iamaleava was able to do whatever he wanted on the ground. I digress. But that's something to look at and at least keep an eye on the rest of the way. I don't question Jim Knowles as the DC, but in year one, it's been obvious now multiple times at different stops, year one for Jim Knowles is typically a get your feet under you kind of year. It's a difference between knowing what to do and then playing football. Like Ohio State, his first year there, guys knew what to do, but there were several times they got with explosives, and that was the reason why they lost college football games, why they didn't accomplish what they wanted to do in year one. So here's what I want to just kind of land the plane with Penn State. Your season's not over. You can still run the table. You can still be a college football playoff team. But the thing that's concerning is this is a new symptom for Penn State. Like Penn State's always had allergies. Every single year, it's like, oh, play Ohio State, drop that game. Oh, play a top 10 team, drop that game. And it got to a point where you would hope that Penn State would get over those humps at some point in time, but you weren't all the way surprised when they would drop those games. Hey, it's seasonal. Every November, they'll lose a game to a top 10 team, and it'll be a bummer, but they'll still finish 10-2, and it's like, okay, Penn State's still one of the better teams in the sport, and they're going to go ahead and now in the 12-team playoff always have a chance to go in and run and get hot at the right time, and like, we'll see. We'll see. Always had allergies. But this symptom, losing to an unranked 0-win UCLA team, that's a new. You might just be sick at that point. Hey, yeah, you usually had the sniffles. Right now, though, like, dude, your eyes are bloodshot. You telling me you got a headache? You don't seem like yourself at all. You're walking drowsy in the Rose Bowl. Like, what's going on here? Like, is the problem deeper than the allergies? Is it deeper than just losing to a top 10 team? Because that's the way that it feels to me. And the concerning thing here, when you look to the rest of their season, there's a lot of points where you can make up some ground. Like, you're going to play Ohio State. First game of November. It's going to be huge. You're going to play Indiana. Huge chance to kind of, revise optics and flip the narrative and all those things. And so if you win those games and you finish 10-2, I have a hard time seeing Penn State being left out of the college football playoff, just so we're all aligned here. But I worry a little bit about the discussion where it becomes Penn State versus another 10-2 team. Y'all, what if UCLA finishes with one win on the season and it's Penn State? Like, think about how tough of a conversation that becomes. Now, you beat Ohio State, you beat Indiana, maybe this is a moot point. But I just think that playoff discussion becomes a little bit more nuanced, a little bit more tricky, and you leave more in the hands of the committee, which I would never want to do if I'm anyone across college football, much less Penn State with a UCLA loss. So I'm concerned. I think we all should be concerned if you're riding the Penn State bandwagon right now. Not a good look, but still a lot of ground to make up, a lot of spots to make up that ground with the Ohio State game here in November. But the fact that you had a loss the week before and came out with that showing and weren't able to climb back into the game because of the offense, like that, just a little bit nervous now about Penn State. But that's why they play the games. So let me know your thoughts about this. If you're a Penn State fan, if you're a UCLA fan, if you're just a college football sicko, let me know in the comment section how you're feeling about this one and what you think is ahead here for the Nittany Lions. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Caden Smith, the ones and twos. We will keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time.